What if I told you the most powerful person in crypto right now has never tweeted, never appeared on a podcast, never done a single interview, and you've never heard their real name? They created Bitcoin in 2008, they gave it to the world for free, and then they vanished, and nobody, not the FBI, not the CIA, not the New York Times, can figure out who they are. That is the story. To understand why Satoshi Nakamoto is such a mystery, you need to understand the moment Bitcoin was born. It's October 31st, 2008. The global economy is in free fall. Lehman Brothers just collapsed. Governments around the world are bailing out banks with taxpayer money, billions of dollars handed to the exact institutions that caused the crisis in the first place. People are losing their homes, their savings, their retirement accounts. The financial system is melting down, and the people running it, nobody's going to jail. And then quietly, on a cryptography mailing list that almost nobody reads, a message appears. I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. It was signed by a name nobody recognized, Satoshi Nakamoto. Attached to the email was a 9-page document, the Bitcoin white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It laid out with startling mathematical precision a system of money that didn't require banks, didn't require governments, didn't require anyone to trust anyone else, just math. 3 months later, on January 3rd, 2009, Satoshi launched the Bitcoin network, and embedded in the very first block of Bitcoin ever mined, called the Genesis block, was a hidden message. A newspaper headline from that day's Times of London: Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Dig at the banking system, a timestamp, and maybe a manifesto. Nobody knew it yet, but the world had just changed. So, who was this person? What do we actually know? First, the name. Satoshi Nakamoto is Japanese. Satoshi means wise or clear thinking. Nakamoto means central origin, which is either a perfect coincidence or a deliberate message from someone who had a very clear idea of what they were building. But here's the thing. Almost every researcher who studies Satoshi's writing style says it doesn't read like a native Japanese speaker. It reads like a highly educated native English speaker, someone from the UK specifically. They use British spelling, analyze, spelled A-N-A-L-Y-S-E instead of A-N-A-L-Y-Z-E, color, spelled C-O-L-O-U-R instead of C-O-L-O-R. They used British slang, and when researchers looked at the timestamps on Satoshi's forum posts and emails, the activity pattern suggested someone living in a European time zone. So, probably not Japanese, probably British or European, highly educated. The white paper references dense academic cryptography papers from the 1980s and 1990s that most people have never heard of, and incredibly careful. In 15 years of communication, Satoshi never once slipped up and revealed a personal detail. No city, no job, no family, just nothing. That level of operational security doesn't happen by accident. This was someone who knew they needed to stay hidden. The question is, why? Before I get into the suspects, drop a comment right now. Who do you think Satoshi is? Because I'm going to tell you something at the end of this video about the leading theory that most crypto channels aren't talking about yet, so stick around and comment below. Over the last 15 years, a number of people have been named as potential candidates for Satoshi, some credible, some ridiculous. Let me walk you through the main ones. Suspect number 1, Hal Finney. Hal Finney was a legendary cryptographer, one of the most respected in the entire world. He was the second person ever to run the Bitcoin software. He received the very first Bitcoin transaction ever sent, 10 Bitcoin from Satoshi Nakamoto on January 12th, 2009. And crucially, he lived just a few blocks from a man named Dorian Nakamoto, an engineer whose birth name was actually Satoshi Nakamoto. Some researchers believe Hal Finney used his neighbor's name as a cover. Hal Finney denied being Satoshi until his death in 2014. God rest his soul. He died from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. His body was cryonically preserved, which means technically we may never know for certain. Most researchers who knew Hal say his writing style and his personality don't fully match Satoshi's, but he remains the most beloved theory in the crypto community. Nick Szabo is a computer scientist, legal scholar, and cryptographer who created something called BitGold in 1998, widely considered the direct predecessor to Bitcoin. The concept is almost identical. He wrote about it for years before Bitcoin appeared. A team of linguistic researchers ran a computer analysis comparing Satoshi's writing to hundreds of candidates. Nick Szabo's writing matched Satoshi's more than anyone else's. Same sentence structures, same rare phrases, same unique vocabulary. Nick has repeatedly and flatly denied being Satoshi, but the crypto community considers him the most technically credible candidate. Suspect number 3, Craig Wright, the fraud. Craig Wright is an Australian computer scientist who has publicly and loudly claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto for almost a decade. He's appeared in interviews, sued people who called him a fraud, and claimed to have cryptographic proof of his identity. There's just one problem. In 2024, a UK High Court found definitively that Craig Wright's claims were fraudulent. He lied about his evidence. He forged documents. He is not Satoshi Nakamoto. The case is closed. Craig Wright is the fake Satoshi. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Suspect number 4, Adam Back, the new bombshell. And now we get to the most recent and most explosive development. Adam Back is the CEO of Blockstream, one of the most powerful companies in the Bitcoin ecosystem. He's a British cryptographer. He invented something called Hashcash in 1997, a proof-of-work system that Satoshi cited in the Bitcoin white paper. Satoshi emailed Adam Back before the white paper was published, and Back claims he barely paid attention to it. On April 8th, 2026, just 2 weeks ago, the New York Times published an investigation by John Carreyrou, one of the most respected investigative reporters in the world, the same journalist who exposed Theron. His investigation pointed directly at Adam Back as the most likely Satoshi. The evidence, matching writing style, matching technical expertise, suspicious timing gaps in Back's early communications that align with Satoshi's active period, and Hashcash, Back's invention being literally foundational to how Bitcoin mining works. Adam Back immediately denied it. He went on CNBC and Bloomberg and said, "I am not Satoshi." He seemed calm, measured, but here's the thing. Every Satoshi suspect has denied it. That's kind of the whole point. The community is extremely divided, and the truth is, we still don't know. Now, here's the part that makes this story genuinely haunting. In December 2010, Satoshi began to pull back. They handed off the Bitcoin code base to a developer named Gavin Anderson. Then they started saying goodbye quietly through private emails. In April 2011, Satoshi sent one last message to Gavin Anderson. It read, "I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with you." And then silence. Just complete, total silence. That was it. No goodbye post. No final message to the community they built. Just gone. And what makes it even more extraordinary, Satoshi is believed to hold approximately 1.1 million Bitcoin. At today's prices, that's well over 100 billion, the single largest Bitcoin wallet in existence. And in 15 years, not a single Satoshi has moved, not one. If Satoshi wanted to cash out, they could have changed the financial trajectory of small countries, but they haven't touched it. Either they're dead or they're extraordinarily disciplined. Or the theory some people whisper, they were an institution, a government, or a collective who never intended to profit from Bitcoin at all. We genuinely do not know. Now, here's an interesting question. Does it actually matter who Satoshi is? Some people say no. Bitcoin's genius is that it doesn't need a leader. It doesn't need Satoshi to function. The code runs, the network runs. It would make no difference if Satoshi revealed themselves tomorrow or never revealed themselves at all. But other people, myself included, think the identity matters for one big reason. Those 1.1 million Bitcoin. If Satoshi is alive and ever decides to sell, even a fraction of those coins hitting the market at once could send shockwaves through the entire crypto economy. Everyone in crypto watches that wallet every single day. And there's another reason it matters. If Satoshi was a government, say the NSA or a foreign intelligence agency, that changes the philosophical foundation of Bitcoin from the idea that it was created by a government entity with its own agenda. The mystery isn't just a curiosity, it has real stakes. Now, here's where I'm going to connect this to something most people completely overlook. Stay with me for 2 more minutes because this part actually matters for you personally. Here's something Satoshi wrote in the very early days of Bitcoin, and I think it's the most important thing they ever said. In 2009, when someone asked about mining, Satoshi wrote, "In the beginning, each person with a computer could participate in mine Bitcoin at home. That was the original idea. It's supposed to be something anyone could do from their home with a regular machine. That was Satoshi's vision." And then the mining arms race happened. Specialized hardware, warehouse-sized operations, electricity bills that would crush a small business. Regular people got completely priced out. Now, here's what changed. A platform called Go Mining, links in the description, has brought that original Satoshi vision back to life. Here's how it works. Go Mining runs real Bitcoin mining facilities, massive professional operations, and they let regular people buy into the mining power of those machines, starting small, without buying any hardware, without paying huge electricity bills, or without needing any technical knowledge. You buy a digital miner, it represents real mining power in a real facility. Every day the Bitcoin that your mining power generates gets paid out to your account. You are participating in the Bitcoin network exactly the way Satoshi originally intended. Isn't guaranteed income. No, Bitcoin is volatile. I'll always be straight with you, but if you believe in Bitcoin long term and given everything you just learned about why it exists and why nobody can shut it down, then mining it might make more sense than just hoping you bought at the right price. Go Mining link is in the description. Check it out. See what the options look like and decide for yourself. I'll never push you to do anything, but I'll always tell you what I think is worth looking at. So, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? The honest answer, we don't know. Hal Finney is the most beloved theory. Nick Szabo is the most technically compelling. Craig Wright is definitively not Satoshi. And Adam Back, as of 2 weeks ago, is the newest, most credible candidate with the full weight of the New York Times investigative team behind that theory. But here's what I keep coming back to. Whether Satoshi is one person or a group, whether they're alive or dead, whether they ever reveal themselves or not, what they built is still running right now. Every 10 minutes, a new block gets added to the Bitcoin blockchain. Thousands of miners, some in massive warehouses, some through platforms anyone can access, are maintaining that network. The thing Satoshi created in a moment of global financial crisis is still right here, still decentralized, still outside the control of any government or bank. That is the most remarkable part. They built something that doesn't need them anymore, and whoever they are, that might be exactly what they intended. If this video gave you a fuller picture of what Bitcoin actually is and where it came from, share it with someone. Seriously. Most people have heard of Bitcoin, but almost nobody knows the story. Subscribe if you want more content like this. We break down money, crypto, business, and financial systems in plain English. No jargon, no hype, just what you actually need to know. Go Mining link is in the description if you want to check out what Satoshi's original mining vision looks like in 2026. I'll see you in the next one.